Okay, now we want to talk about some consequences of continental glaciation, and the first is the weight of the glacier itself can actually push the land surface lower, so it can make the topography lower. And so we're going to call this ice loading. And so this is a picture of Greenland. And if you notice, Greenland, so if we were to that's a horrible picture, but let's say that that is Greenland. You'll notice that topographically speaking, these areas around here are higher than the areas that are in the middle. And that's because there's so much ice on Greenland, it's actually pushing the surface of the ground down lower. Now, once that ice is gone, the ground will start to come back up again. So that's going to be called rebound. So it's just like taking a spring and compressing it as long as there's weight on top of it. But then if you remove the weight, the spring stretches back out, and so the ground will start to rebound as a result of that. Sea level changes. So the water that is in these continental glaciers, it has to come from somewhere. So that when you have an ice age, it takes a lot of water out of the oceans in order to make that ice. So as that water is removed, then the level of the sea is going to drop. Now, when the ice age is over and all of that ice begins to melt, then it starts to deposit all of that water back in the oceans, and then the level of the oceans goes up. Well, one big consequence of this is during the ice ages, when the level of the ocean was lower, it exposed more of the seafloor, and there were actually land bridges that allowed people to go from one place to another. So normally it would be covered by ocean water, but during this time period it was dry land and they were able to walk across. So a couple examples of this would be the Bering land bridge that connected Asia with North America. And so we think that this is the way that the Native Americans migrated into North America. Another example that you can see off of this picture right here is how people from Asia were able to get into Indonesia by crossing some of these land bridges. Okay, and then glaciers can change existing river systems. And so this picture shows how before the ice ages began, how rivers in North America drained to the north. And then as a result of the ice ages, it changed the drainage patterns so that some of those rivers that used to drain north, now they drain south in North America. Okay, and then you can, during the ice ages, there was a lot more ice in the western part of North America, and then that ice, when it melted, made lakes. And so these are called pluvial lakes. And so the Great Salt Lake is an example of one of these pluvial lakes. So in the past, the Great Salt Lake was much larger than what it is today. And you can see that there were other lakes as well. Now, most of those lakes today are much smaller, and some of them are even dried up. But there's still evidence that during the ice ages there were these large lakes that were located. Okay, and so our final topic is to talk about the ice ages. And so we'll do that in our next segment.